going to leave you with just five. Five things leadership isn't. Five misconceptions of leadership. Number one is position. Position is something a lot of people aspire for. You get into a corporation and you want the next position and the next position. The more you focus on position, the less you focus on your purpose. So leadership is not about position, but about purpose. You want to focus, you want to keep the vision in sight, keep the mission in sight, keep your purpose in mind. Okay, so in fact, when you're given a position of authority, it's a call to be and do more for other people. Right? That's really what the definition of position is to do more and to be more. Right? So before you can be more and do more, you want to ensure that your focus is aligned properly. Number two, what leadership isn't is not popularity. So again, number one is not position. Number two, it's not, capital N-O-T, popularity at all. Leadership is not a popularity contest, right? The more you want to be popular, the less leader you become, right? So instead of popularity, what you want to focus on is principles. That's what leadership is about. A set of principles, right? They always say the only thing that's constant is change. Everything changes. The principles of leadership for generations, even way before Jesus Christ, are still the same. Right? What we respect Mahatma Gandhi for, Martin Luther King, Jesus Christ, even as far back as, Socrates and people like that, it's still the same. Principles of leadership doesn't change, right? But popularity goes with pose, right? That's really where it is from. So again, leadership is not position, it's not popularity. Instead of popularity, you want to focus on what? Principle. Number three, it's not prosperity. Now, you may become prosperous if you're a leader, and not necessarily the position makes you prosperous. It's your focus on purpose. Look at the likes of Bill Gates. Elizabeth Holmes, a young woman, a something-year-old woman who just became a billionaire. Her focus was to discover, her purpose, to discover, an easier way of testing blood. And she did, and made $5 billion, right? So it's not prosperity. So instead of prosperity, focus on philanthropy. Right? The more philanthropic you are, the more leader you become. The more your leadership spirit is energized and ignited. So again, it's not position, it's not popularity, and it's definitely not prosperity. Don't look at those politicians, and some of them, are wayward and fraudulent, and begin to aspire to become a politician just simply because he says it's not prosperity at all. In fact, we know from King Solomon, he said ill-gotten wealth, will dissipate. It will dissipate. Those who make money through fraudulent means, sooner or later, will choke on it. So those are three. And then number four, leadership is not population either, right? You see, this is especially for churches, I have the biggest church in the Southwest. And no, it's not population. It's not population. It's people. So instead of focusing on population, on how many people you have in your organization or how many people you have in your government or in your church, you want to focus on the people themselves. Leadership is about developing people. Remember that? Right? Leadership is about developing people. So, it's one thing to have 1 million people, but how many of them really are you making a difference in their lives? Right? So it's not population. It's not how many people you have on Facebook that makes you a leader, but it's how many lives you're touching individually on their birthday. Right? You respond to their questions. So leadership is not about population, but about the people. You want to keep that in mind, people, right? And then the last one I want to talk about today is power. People think leadership is about power. I want to become powerful. The more power you amass, the more leadership. No. In fact, it was John C. Maxwell who said leadership is not about power, but about empowering people. So, and I say instead of power, you want to focus on passion. Right? Be passionate about your purpose, right? And power and masses. Now, as I concluded in the chapter, most of these 5 vices I talk about, which is position, popularity, prosperity, population, and power, you may eventually get in the end. But the goal about leadership is not to focus on that, but rather to focus on purpose, on principle, on philanthropy, on passion. Passion. So instead of power, you want to focus on passion and then on principles. Okay. So those are 5 things leadership isn't, and these are 5 things leadership is.